Welcome to Tapped In, the craft beer marketing podcast for brewery teams who want to turn their followers into regulars. I'm your host, Stephanie Grant, and I am coming to you with a new camera if you're watching this on YouTube, a new microphone. I hope you hear me pretty well. This is a microphone that's left over from my Good Beer Hunting days. For those that know, I used to be a podcast host for Good Beer Hunting. I really enjoyed that job and sad to see it go. But hey, now I'm hosting my own podcast, so how fun. Now, let's dive right into our topic for today, and this one's near and dear to my heart. When I was working at Monday night, I felt like I had to be there all the time, and I wanted to be there all the time. I thought about my work all the time, and that might be why I left there with burnout. But yeah, it's hard being a social media manager when you are working in a place that doesn't really start popping until the end of the day. When you are working a 9 to 5, a Monday through Friday, like how are you going to capture the magic that's happening if you're headed home? If you're off for the weekend, you're hanging out with your family, you're hanging out with your friends. And I really wrestled with that. And we did try something which I will talk about in a second. I think it's really important to not feel like you need to be everywhere all the time, because you need to rest. You need to take a break. You need to, because it is the best way to protect your creativity. It is the best way to treat yourself. And you are really not doing yourself any justice by always being on and always being at the brewery. So with that in mind, I have a potential solution to find some content captains. Okay, we'll call them content captains. These are people who will likely be at the brewery when all of these things are popping off, when you're having the big events, the small events, like your weekly specials, all of those things. And you're probably already realizing who I'm talking about. It's your beer tenders. Your beer tenders are there on the front lines. They are there when all of the fun things are happening at the brewery. They are there when you can't be there. And this is something that we did try at Monday night. At the time when I was there, they had 3 locations. 2 of them were in Atlanta, which were fine. They were about 15 minutes apart. But the other one was in Alabama, and I was not going to be riding back and forth to Alabama. And so we tried to figure out a way to get people involved in helping us with content creation. But I remember feeling like I wasn't getting the right help or enough help. And I realize now why that was. So I'm going to share with you what it is that I think would work, because I haven't tried this out. So if for anyone listening, if you're like, hey, I would really love more help with content, this episode is for you, because I would love to see if you put this in practice and make this happen. I actually might be implementing something similar to this with one of the breweries that I work with. So I will also keep you posted on whether or not I'm able to make this happen. So I think one of the main reasons why this didn't work for us is because we did not give them specific enough direction. I think it can be very easy for you to forget how much knowledge you have when it comes to creating content, when it comes to posting for your account, that people just don't know. Now I realize how I really did not set them up for success. I didn't give them enough information to really execute, and I had a lot of assumptions about the process. I thought that just because you follow our accounts, you see what I'm posting on the regular, I just need you to basically replicate that and I'll take it from there, right? You're in it all day, every day, and it can be very hard for you to know where someone else is coming from. You need to be specific. And I'm talking about getting down to the nitty gritty details, from making sure that they're framing the content correctly, making sure they're not giving you content that's backlit, making sure that they are capturing exactly what you would like to see them give you. So I remember talking to one of my clients. I did a workshop for them and was teaching them about everything that I know and just walking them through ways for them to navigate creating content. So their beer bar, not technically a brewery, but about the same kind of vibe. they have someone who is designated to create content for their account. And she also happens to be a server. They mentioned a challenge of trying to create content because I was like, oh, the fact that you're a server should make it easier for you to create content because her schedule is built to be there, very similar to beer tenders. She's going to be there when all the action happens. I was like, oh, so you can easily create content. And she says to me, she's, yeah, when we have a really good vibe, that's usually when we're very busy. And I was like, yeah, of course. But then I forgot that I will turn anything into a tripod, okay? I'll put this phone here and record myself. That's the tripod. And sorry for anyone who's not watching. I just propped my phone up on the windowsill. You can find all kinds of ways to prop up your phone. You can also get tripods that are very portable. I would show you one, but it is all the way across the room. But there are all kinds of different tripods that you can get that are very inconspicuous, but you can also use your environment. And so what I told her, I said, hey, all you got to do is prop your phone up at the bar, record some clips, go take an order, go grab some food out of the window, come back, turn it off, and you have enough content. You don't need to let it go all night, right? And so when I'm talking about be specific, that's how specific I want you to be. When you are talking to people that you want to designate as content captains, I want you to talk them through it, to let them know what your needs are, let them know what your expectations are. Ask them, are there things that you think would complicate this for you? Let them walk you through some things that they feel like they might encounter, because you're coming at it from the content creator's perspective. They're coming at it from, I'm a beer tender and I am trying to focus on that job, because at the end of the day, you do not want their help to impact the customer's experience. So make sure you're talking it through with them. Maybe you even want to walk through what it could look like with them, because anytime I have someone supporting me, I want to do the best I can to support them. And so making sure that they're very clear on what you need and how to execute is key. If you're thinking about having some content captains in your brewery, here are some things that I suggest you do. So first of all, I want you to share the overall plan. What are you trying to accomplish? That could be your overall thoughts about social media and what you're trying to create, what you're building towards. That could be a specific post. It could really be anything in between, but you want to let them in on the overall plan for what you're trying to do. Give them examples of what the final product should look like. So give them an idea of it. And I would even go as far as to ask them, when you look at the example, hey, is there anything in here that you feel like you're not quite sure how to capture? You're not quite sure what to pull? Because I know that I will look at a video that someone's done and I automatically make a shot list. I automatically say, okay, I need to get this, and this. I already have these shots, so I just need to get this one. So that's how my brain automatically goes, because I've been creating content for a long ass time. Okay. But someone who is new to it might not understand. And just because people scroll on Instagram all day, every day, and it's on TikTok all day, every day, does not mean they know how to create content. So you really want to break that down for them. And again, be specific about what you want them to capture. Don't leave it open-ended. You might be thinking, oh, I don't want to stamp out their creativity. But I think being specific helps. As someone who's been a creator their whole professional career, having boundaries helps. Having some structure, having an idea of what the final product should look like is very helpful for the creation of the product. So don't be afraid of providing structure to the point where you feel like their creativity doesn't have the room to grow. It will, and they will feel more confident in creating content for you because they have direction. I also want to add a caveat here, is that let them know that above everything, their main job is to be a beer tender, and that you don't want them to feel as if that job come second, because you do not want to impact the guest experience. That is not what this is about. So finding ways to allow them to do both, I think talking that through, letting them know what your expectations are around this. Hey, if you get really busy, if you have the time to just prop your phone up and capture what's going on, just have it document what's happening. You don't have to do anything extra. Turn it off after a minute or so. And really, that is what they're doing. They are just documenting what is happening at the brewery when you are not there. That is it. They don't have to stage anything. You're just grabbing content of what's already happening there. There is a brewer here in Georgia that actually helps the marketing team create content. And I think he goes as far as actually editing content. I'm not sure what all his responsibilities are, but if you have someone who is like, hey, I would love to create some reels for the account, can I do that? Being clear about what their responsibilities are. Are they just shooting content? Are they editing content? What is it that they're doing? And being clear about what that final result looks like if they are going beyond just shooting. Again, this is about being as specific as possible to make sure you're on the same page and to make sure that you are getting the results that you want. So this is actually something that I cover in the Taproom Capture System, which is a downloadable product that I have. I think it's like $37. No pressure to buy it, but just throwing it out there. But I put everything that I learned about working in social in a brewery, running social media for breweries today. And I'm going to give you a rundown of what it includes, because it also includes direction for getting your beer tenders involved in creating content. And it could be a really good guide if you do decide to purchase it to give your beer tenders so that they can have the information. I talked about how you can set up your infrastructure for templatizing your work. I talked about the shadowing method, which is something I did at Monday night, how to build a content library so you're not always starting from scratch, because nobody has time to set up a new shot every time you want to create a post. I also include a brewery shot list. It's very detailed about everything that you would want to capture, with the goal of not doing all of that in one go, but the goal of building it over time. I also have some visual basics in there, how to shoot content that actually looks good, that makes your beer look good, that makes your tap room look good, makes your people look good. I also talk about the voice of the customer. This is something that I actually do when I am working with my clients one-on-one and we are getting ready to build their strategy. I will scrape the internet for their reviews to see what their customers are saying so that we can use that feedback, that customer feedback, to incorporate into their content. In the last episode, I talked about how to turn your followers into fans or regulars of your business. And part of that is speaking their language. And one way to start speaking their language is to actually read the things that they love about you, and then you can turn that into content. I also, going back to the content library, I also talk about how you can organize that content library so you can actually use it, okay? Because it is very easy to put together a collection of photos and video clips and then be like, I don't know, where did I put that clip of that beer, or where did I put the clip of that event we did last year, because I want to do a post on it again. And it can be very easy to lose that. When I was at Monday night, I think I was there around year 10. So they had 10 years of content they had collected, which was amazing. But it also was cumbersome to navigate. So I have found a way to organize content so that you can actually find it and use it. And then, of course, I have in there how you can get your beer tenders involved so you're not the only one capturing content. And really, this can go for your brewers, too. Like I said, there's a brewer here in Georgia who helps with content creation. And I think that brewers also have schedules where they are there early in the morning or late at night if you have another shift of brewers. And there are things that happen that you miss. There are things that they could capture for you. And I think that getting as many people involved in creating content, it also gives you a different point of view. where you are not the only one responsible for the story. You're getting everyone or as many people at your brewery involved as possible. So let's talk about how you will know if this is working. I think the clearest one is that you're getting content that you can actually use. You're getting content that you feel proud to post on your page. And you also become someone who's not the only one responsible for capturing content. Another great thing is that you have content that you feel actually represents your brewery, that it shows the vibe of your space. It shows the people who enjoy it. It shows people enjoying the space. And those pieces of content can go a long way in helping someone choose you over another place. How do you put this in practice? Because I believe in not just learning, but let's apply this knowledge. Here are 3 things that you can do. First, you can pick a staff member that would be thrilled to start helping you with content creation. Have a meeting with them, talk over these things that I've mentioned, and give them some clear direction and examples to work from. And then maybe start small. Maybe you have an event coming up and you're like, hey, I'm not going to be able to attend. Would you mind grabbing shots of X, Y, and Z? I would like to do a thank you post, but I also would like to use the content next year when we host this event. And then if you are someone who has tried to go to every single event and capture what's happening, set a boundary and say, I am not going to attend this event. I'm going to let whoever you've designated as your content captain handle it. All right, guys, let's dive into some examples. And these examples are related to our topic today. So we have this post from Hazy Patty. POV, your office is a brewery, and she's basically doing a day in a life. So this is another benefit of creating content captains. You can get them to do days in a life for you. And this post has 652 likes. 17 reposts, 6 comments. Like, it's doing well. It's performing well. And she has 2,900 followers. This is the kind of content that people want to see. And it's just simply her taking you through her brew day. Very easy for someone to create. And then the other post I have, because I always like to dip outside of the beer industry. Now, I wouldn't exactly say this one starts out $250 in 3 hours. I wouldn't necessarily do that. But what I like about this is just it shows the different cocktails that this bartender is making. I would do this 2 ways. Maybe a beer tender could be showing the different beers that they've poured in a day, showing which beers people are gravitating towards. I would even put the name of the beer on a screen for every pint that they pour. And I would either have the sound of the tap room, so just have the ambient sound, or I would have some music underneath and do some on-screen text that says something like, here's what everybody ordered on Saturday at blah, blah, blah. Something like that. Something that sort of sparks curiosity. You want to know, what are people ordering when they come there? Like, are they ordering my favorite beer? Getting people interested. And then the last video is of a brewer. This is from April's Beer, and he is showing you what transfer day looks like. He's transferring a hazy IPA, and he's just walking you through. It does look like someone is filming for him, but that could be another brewer that's in the back with him. It could be a cellar person, whoever is available. But it's a great example of the different types of content. This account has less than 2,000 followers, and they got 1,200 likes on this post. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. This is the kind of content that people are interested in seeing. And it is very hard to create this content if you are the only one creating it. So finding some content captains to help you along the way is the way to go. So that's it for me today. I hope that you got something from this podcast, and I will see you in the next one.